This is
the Real Talk No Cap podcast.
Episode 4, Free Game. Welcome to the Real Talk No Cap podcast. Welcome all my anti-cappers out there. We had to make a little correction. I mean, why'd you have to go and call everybody liars out there?
Man, I thought,
It sounded nice.
we sounded nice. Like off the tongues cappers, you know what I mean? But as we got some feedbacks from some of the, listeners that no cappers, we realized that
we had to be no capping out here because for those that don't know, the lingo out here nowadays, no cap means you're not lying. So if we use if A then B, that means if we're calling you cappers, you guys are liars. So we don't want to call you guys liars out there. We want to let you guys know that we appreciate you guys listening to us. We got a special guest again, Trey Wu represent. Y'all know Trey Wu, the manager with us, Abdul Hamid, and we also got. I don't want to disrespect all the other artists, but we got one of them. We got one of the pioneers of Trey Wu right here. Trey Wu, Third World United. Let's hear the voice. Who is it?
What it do, man? Shit, boy, Mass 139.
Hey, man, y'all know the track. We can say the least, and then do the more.
Hey, but before we even start, since you got your artist name, Mass 139, break that down a little bit.
I mean, people mostly know me as Essam, but people still know Mass 139
Oh,
too.
snap. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Mass 1 is Essam backwards, right?
Yeah, and in the graffiti culture, when you put one at the end of
you know what I'm saying?
your name, there's only one of you.
You know Krudonsky? You know Krudonsky?
Yeah, your brother.
Oh, okay, just making sure. That's what I'm saying.
That's a pioneer right there,
That's
man.
the pioneer right there. Shout out to my big bro. They call me Lil Crud, by the way.
Yeah.
Y'all can call me Lil Crud, by the way, if y'all want to. Nah, just don't say that. Don't
Popping like Pringles, huh?
Popping like, hey,
that's Dr. Martin, man. That guy.
Let's not go there. As we digress, but we want to thank Essam for coming on. This guy's a really busy guy. Right before he pulled up, he just rolled up on me and was like, hey, 20 minutes on the phone. I called him earlier. He's like, I'm in a meeting right now. This guy, y'all don't know how hot this guy is right now. Like, he's bringing heat to you guys, and y'all don't even know. We should be charging you to listen to this podcast right now. This is how important this guy is. I'm serious. I didn't even, he's with the big stars, too. Did you just recently do, like, another podcast recently, too? How long ago, man?
I forgot, bro. Oh, the last podcast I did was with Prain Slay, actually.
Wait, what?
Prain Slay, the sisters from Seattle, yep.
Right, shout out to them, man. Make sure can you let us know the tag so we can tag them in it as well too, man.
Podcast.
Well, again, I think we brought you on because we've always had these real talk conversations, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Today is freestyle. There is no script in front of us. I don't even know what we're gonna talk about today, man. So we just gonna try to go with the flow. But I guarantee you're gonna get some free game out here. That's why this episode is called Free Game because Essam is gonna school us. All right, like I used to school him on the basketball court. Let me actually tell you how I met Essam. I like to brag about the big guys I know. You know what I'm saying? I used to see him. We used to be down on 39th Street. That's where our masjid, our community center, basically where we grew up. And Essam out here, playing basketball, traveling out here, not knowing the basic steps. So I go up to him like, yo, let me show you how to pivot. So I got my left foot in front of me, taking my right and turning it back. And then this is a story that he always remembers, and I take credit for that. Like, yo, that's, I don't know how your basketball game is.
I'll give you that credit, bro. The pivot. I remember you telling me how to pivot, bro.
Shout out 39th Street.
Bro.
Shout out 39th Street. Everybody 39th Street, holla out. Yeah, see that?
Man.
Yeah.
Some of the best memories, man. Some of the best memories on 39th Street. I'm not gonna lie,
And again, if you guys don't know what 39th Street is, that's where, like I said, where our masjid is located. Our community center. We did a lot of things over there. So myself, Abdul Hamid, Essam, we used to go back then, way back, to the classes and things like this. We used to have you could call it Sunday school or whatever like this, but that's where we used to come through it. And I might say, I don't know if you guys know, like the Jami Muslimin is a predominantly Cham community, and we consider one of our own, but not many people know that you are actually.
I'm a mixture of things, man.
Let's save that to the point where
you sure
we'll
you
go to the back. I mean, let's start to this. So, I mean, before you answer that, a lot of people, we're gonna kind of go a little deep, a little bit. We're gonna dive into about your life, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the biography of Mass One or Essam, right? Growing up, I thought you was born in the States, Seattle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with you. You know what I mean? So, and then down the road, maybe just not too long ago, we just found out your real birthplace.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was born in Morocco, and then my mom came to the States when I was like 1 year old. And yeah, pretty much, man. Ever since I was a baby, I've been in South Seattle. You know what I mean? This is kind of like in a nutshell, you know.
Right.
So I've been here my whole life. And
what brought you guys to America?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I take it you was an infant, or like a kid or whatever like this, but from what your mom and things like this told you.
No, for sure. Yeah, it was a lot, man. It was a lot. I've spoke about it before, you know, on podcasts and stuff like that. But it was pretty much, you know, my mom she was going through a lot.
Okay.
You know, pops left before I was born. You know what I mean? And you know, she was just trying to find him pretty much. But you know, it didn't work out. She had a sister over here, so she popped up to her sister. You know.
Okay, so she had a connection here.
Yeah, she already had connections through her sister, and I had a first cousin, and another sister.
Did you guys come through like my parents? They came through like an organization and things like this. Was that the same thing for you guys?
She was in Italy actually, and she had there was like a community center of like nuns. Okay. You know, so they put some funds together because of her situation, what she was going through. They put some funds together for her to be able to come to the States. You know, after going through the hardships that she went through when she was over there.
How old were you?
When she came here, I was like 1 year old.
What type of things do you remember? Like when you started growing up, were you guys still in the process of like settling in America, or were you guys pretty settled already and things like this?
So pretty much, bro. They say, I think it was at the first certain amount of years of your life. I don't know, it was 5, 6, 7 years. It's crucial to the development of a child, you know.
Right.
And I feel like that period, even though I don't remember, I feel like that a period of time, that hardship my mother went through, had a huge impact on the reason why I am the way I am today. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about that? Like, is there like a feeling that you hold till today, like that?
Yeah, it's like a cloud of darkness.
Can I ask, was that cloud of darkness this whole time you was living through with it, like throughout your life as growing up, or when you? Okay.
Yep. I feel like it's something that it's just like it's like a passed down trauma. You know what I mean? That I have to live with for the rest of my life. Right. And obviously I have certain ways of navigating through this trauma. Like obviously we have Islam and we have you know, creative expression and things of that nature. But I think, you know, having the absence of the person who gave birth to you, not knowing who he was your whole life, I feel like that has a negative impact on the development of a child. You know, you feel betrayed. You have a hard time trusting people. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel like you're betrayed. You know what I mean? By the person who's supposed to love and care for you. When
did you kind of develop these feelings of, I don't want to say resentment, maybe that's a little bit too strong, but when you said you felt this cloud of darkness, when did you kind of realize like, damn, like I'm kind of different than everybody else? And the reason why I asked, like myself growing up, I'm not in the same position as you, but you know, my father wasn't too much in my life as much as I wanted to be as well too. But you know, alhamdulillah, I never came to that feeling was like, damn, you know, like I'm missing this, you know. So when did you kind of feel like you felt that?
So just to kind of reiterate, I had a void that was filled. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That void was pretty much my step pops.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He was my father figure growing up. Like he was the one that, like, you know what I mean? Like I look at him like my real father. To this day, I haven't called I met my biological father. I met him 3 years ago for the first time. To this day, I have yet to been able to call him father when I see him. Or any Arabic word to replace that, whatever the case may be. I call him by his first name. And it's internalized for me. I'm still healing from that wound, right? Even though, you know what I'm saying? That's why I just want to kind of highlight that in the sense that, like, I still had that father figure. For sure. You know what I mean? There's people that but it doesn't mean I don't have wounds from not knowing who my father is.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because now I'm struggling with identity.
All right.
You know, I'm having an identity crisis. Okay, where do I belong?
and that's why I kind of wanted to bring up that question, because like I said, we all went to class together, but you know, like we're all kids, and myself, I used to wonder like, who the heck is this Arab kid or something like that, you know, because you know, young adolescents, you know, and to say that you want to ignore race, that's not even an idea that is implemented in people until at an older age and things like this. And I don't think we should recognize different races and things like this, so we can learn about one another, right? And that's why that's why upon, you know, by the time I was like 17, that's why I showed you how to pivot in basketball, because I wanted to get to know who Essam was. And you know, how did you ever get those feelings where like, dang, these people are treating me or are staring at me because they notice that I'm different from them?
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
There's
times where I was pushed on the floor and people, you know, spitting in my eyes in the community.
Right.
You feel me? There's times where I got beat up. You feel me? Like, but you know what I mean? I'm like, and it's because I was different. You know what I'm saying?
Because you were different.
Because I was different, for sure. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, I don't care. Like whatever happened when you younger, you was younger. But in reality, I still had to deal with that. You know what I mean? But
hey, was it me, bro? I didn't mean to put you in the stomach that one time, bro.
It wasn't you. I'm not gonna lie. I had people reach out to me years down the line, you know, and apologize and stuff.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But I never even, like, the people that reached out, I'm like, I even forgot. You know, I don't even know. But the reality is, there was people that was in the mindset of just trying to, you know, bring down certain people in the community.
Feeling, at least,
you feel me? Because I was never the type of person to hurt anybody. I was always a happy kid. You know what I mean? Like, I've always been, you know what I mean, more. You know what I'm saying?
Kid, angry adult. Or?
No, I had a lot of anger in me though.
Right.
There was a point in time where I didn't know how to control these emotions. You know, I'm going through the phases of puberty and stuff. You know, and I start going crazy. You know what I mean? But in reality, is for the most part though, I never was the type of person to you know what I mean, do anything to harm anyone. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I've been, that's been done to me though. You feel me?
Right.
So and I learned from it. Because I'm like, all right, I don't want to treat somebody else the way I was treated.
Right.
You feel me? So
That's
when I'm
talk
interacting with the next generation, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna talk to them. And I'm gonna show them love. You know what I mean? Because I know what it feels like to be in that position, regardless of what the ethnicity is, regardless what the race is. You feel me?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hold nothing against nobody. I don't care if you're whatever you is. You know?
Okay.
Right, love is universal. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I have like a 2-part thing to like a follow up. I got like the first one. I do remember at a point when we was younger, OG came out to you and was about to get ready for prayer, and he was like, you know, that's not your father. And you came to me like, what the heck? You just was tripping out. And as we young, I didn't know how to support that. I'm like, what the heck was that, right? And I witnessed that, you know what I mean? Right. And I'm like, man, we was about to just pray, you know what I mean? And you had to hit him with that, right? And then, but just
how old were you guys? You guys don't mind me?
Middle school,
middle school.
I don't even know.
That happened so many times.
I know, but I literally witnessed that one.
So many times. That was one of them, but I had a lot of and that type of stuff made me mad, you know, because I see my identity in my father figure. You see what I'm saying?
They just basically ripped it out of you.
Exactly,
actually,
you know. And there's times where they make jokes like I have people like make jokes. Oh, where's your father at? Where's your pops at? And I'll be like, he's right here. He's like, that's in front of my notes. No, where's your father at? Where's your father at?
It was crazy, and at that time you didn't even know that your biological father existed at that time.
Yeah, I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It was a sensitive topic. I never really talked about.
It wasn't confirmed to you, right? You felt something because maybe of all these incidents that came at you, and you're like, you know what? Maybe not, right? Or something, I don't know.
You know, so yeah, bro, that definitely, there was a point in time where I was angry because of that, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, bro,
So I have my follow-up question now. Like, you now you're battling, or you're not even battling, you're dealing with all these emotions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who did you turn to? I don't know if I should share this, but it's real talk. Like, do you have any siblings, like bloodline? You know?
Yeah. So I blood siblings I never had.
Okay, so you was the only child.
Yeah, but I got, you know what I mean? Like I got my brothers, you know, from my pops.
For sure.
You know, and I got mad
Shout
love
out
for them.
to
I love both of them.
Asudi.
Yeah, bro. I got mad love for both of them.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're a lot older than me.
For sure.
Generation wise.
Right.
So obviously we didn't grow up together.
That connection.
You know what I'm saying? But I still, it's love is always there. But in the sense that obviously, if I had a sibling that was, or even if I had a stepbrother or something closer to my age. Oh, by the way, so I had so there was Abdul.
Right.
He is my nephew, pretty much, you know what I'm saying? I was close, me and him was close growing up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Close to this day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like my brother, you know what I mean? Literally, he was my nephew. He's a year younger than me, but he was like my
Right.
brother. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So that if we're talking about like the sibling feeling, it was Abdul growing up. Right, because we was always together, sleeping with each other, fighting.
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like that was, we go, you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Like that was my sibling experience growing up, was me and
Right.
Abdul, and I think Abdul would say the same thing if you were to ask him.
Right, right.
You know?
So were you able to relay this feel? Like, were you able to communicate your feelings to him, or how did you? Who did you communicate to at that time?
With me and him, it's just like, we the same family.
For sure.
We just rocking together. We the
Right,
same
right,
family. You feel me?
right.
That's just the way we looking at it. We don't like. We was kids. We don't talk about emotions and stuff.
For sure,
you know.
for sure.
But we're just.
So you just suppressed it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
bro. To be honest, I didn't really start talk about what I was going through until I started rapping.
So you
I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
I didn't talk. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but have your parents ever brought it up growing up and things like this? Like, has your we call him Ong Lee, but that means basically the captain. That's a story for another time.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, did he ever kind of sit with you and be like, yeah,
But
this is
let me
the
break it down like this.
situation?
I think you guys got parents who are refugees. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you guys know how refugee parents is.
For
You
sure.
know what I mean? You show
Tough
love,
love.
keep it pushing. You know what I mean? We're not. You know what I mean? And then we're gonna sit down and talk about. That are
Yes.
like, hey,
No hugs,
That's
white
100s, I love
the
you.
white families, maybe,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, son, I have something to talk to you about. But
Right.
it's like, nah, bro, like over here, when we in the hood, you know what I mean? We got children
Life
that
is life,
against
it's going
refugees.
on.
Keep
Let's
it
not
pushing.
dwell
I'm
on
not
it.
gonna hold nothing against no one. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the love was showing in it through action.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's the most important form of love is through action.
Let me ask you this, Essam, because I feel like look, there's a lot of things wrong with this country and things like this, but I do feel like one of the aspects that successful parents have in America is having that type of relationship with their kids where they're able to talk to them and things like this. Do you feel like it might have been different? You might have turned out differently if your family had opened up to you and talked about it and things like this?
No, I'm perfectly fine with the way my parents raised me and with
I'm gonna put you on the spot. That's not the, that's not the
I'm just
question.
saying and how I and everything I went through in my life was qadr. It was written by Allah for it to be that way. And the way my parents raised me made me who I am today. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And I think because of the way my parents raised me, I'm able to learn perspective. I'm able to understand perspective. You see what I'm saying? Rather than be like, oh, I should have been raised this way. You know what I'm saying? Because this educational system taught me I should have been raised this way. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
There's different ways. Our ancestors survived for us to still be here. You feel me? So
Right.
yeah, we could talk about the toxic traits of our families and stuff like that. But in reality, I feel like it's unnecessary in terms of speaking about growth. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that
yeah.
touches upon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just like I said with you, and then especially growing up in this.
And just
go ahead,
sorry,
go ahead.
but to answer your question though, how I will raise my children, will it be the same as my parents, is a different question. You know what I'm saying? Like,
are you comfortable answering that?
no,
Like,
no.
would
But I'm
you say-
saying, I'm just saying, like when you understand that perspective, you're able to apply
Right.
it to.
Yeah, because like when it comes to our parents and things like this, like they grew up a certain way,
Yeah.
a certain lifestyle, a certain set of standards that they were held to. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
and the reason why I asked that is just because like when we come to America, we're living with a different set of rules
Yeah.
and things like this.
Yeah.
And, I always say I don't blame the parent. Like, if I did something wrong and that's from my own fault,
Yeah.
I don't blame my parents because they didn't understand the beast that they was throwing us to. You know what I'm saying? Like growing
and
up in America.
on top of that, bro, it's the first time in this country they're trying to survive. On top of raise their children.
We was just-
you know what I'm saying? So that we're pretty much being. I'm an outside baby. I was raised outside my whole life.
Right.
My
Right.
mom was in the hospital. My pops was working. I'm outside all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm exploring, walking around the South End, looking up with people, no phone. So it's riding my bike everywhere,
Damn,
hopping up
bike
to the
days,
masjid
yeah.
everywhere else, in my hood. I have a whole different experience growing up in my hood as well,
Right.
So it's just like, it's you know what I mean? Like the whole South End is just like, is what really raised me, from Rainier Beach to Franklin to the
Right.
39th Street to my neighborhood, I feel like that all, you know what I mean? It all shaped the person I am today.
You said something that I did want to touch upon, and I hope you're comfortable to talk about it. You mentioned that your mom was in the hospital and things
Yeah.
like this. Can you touch up upon that and tell the listeners what you're talking
so
about?
in 1994, around the time my mom actually came to America, she was diagnosed with a disease called muscular dystrophy, limb
Okay.
girdle. Affects the limbs in the girdle, and so throughout the whole time my mom was raising me, she was it's a progressive muscle illness. It gets worse over the years. So throughout the whole time I was growing up, I used to, as a kid, I used to go swim Rainier Beach, go swimming, and then all of a sudden my mom falls, she goes to the hospital, a random person to take me home. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, these are the things I have to deal with growing up, you know?
And how old were you? 94?
My whole life, bro. This is my whole life.
No, but how old were you when you
became a lifeguard?
Huh?
Yeah. How old were you when
I
you were
was
doing
like
this?
8 years old, probably like 7, 8. Around this time, around this happened, 7, 8 years. I remember they said keep it up. I was gonna be a lifeguard, 13, get my certificate.
He was a strong swimmer. Y'all
I was
didn't
a
know.
dope swimmer. I won free tickets to Disneyland. I brought my nephew Abdul, my mom and my pops. I won tickets to Disneyland in elementary school.
Hey, he almost brought me to that trip. You don't remember, bro? He almost selected me to go, but I was
my
like,
kids don't know how to swim. You charge for swimming lessons?
I mean, I don't swim no more, but I could hold my own. You feel
If
me?
you need to run, you can swim.
And once coronavirus goes back to normal, maybe I'll probably do a little course, learn swimming.
Okay,
and teach kids.
coming out.
Community, y'all better hold him to that, man.
Yeah, bro.
He don't only make tracks, but he teach your kid how to swim.
You feel me?
Trey, Woo.
Come on.
That's free
You know what I'm
advertisement. No, go ahead, continue on.
No.
So you were saying you were 8 years old at the time, and strangers kind of bringing you home and things like this, and so it progressively just got worse.
It happened so much, even like I'm not gonna speak about the little things, but even like little things I would have to help my mom with from a young age. It's almost as yeah, bro. It's kind of deep when you think about it. Like I guess I was looking into it recently, like in reverse parenting or something like that. You know,
Talk
I think
to us.
I think that's what kind of happened to me, but I have no problem with it. You feel me? Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know
it wouldn't
how
make
to
you
hold
who
it
you
down.
are too.
Responsibilities and stuff I learned from a young age.
Yeah.
On my own. I was touching the oven when I was 14. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
13, 14, I was touching the oven, baking and stuff for my pops and
you bake too?
Bro,
you got Essam
His
cookies?
resume is looking nice.
No, all I'm saying, all I'm saying, I'm not. That's not my passion. I don't do in the kitchen. I promise you, bro. In the kitchen, I'm deadly, bro. But I don't make traditional stuff. But because I've been doing it my whole life, I've been making smoothies, shakes, burgers.
Shout out to that. Shout out to the Carson and Craft,
I'm just saying though. That's when the homies come through. I love making a nice plate, like it looks fancy, bro.
Yes,
I know. I probably I don't
his
know.
smoothies be good,
I
man.
need to go to
You
your
got
son's house more often, man. I need a shake, smoothie, and
Yeah,
burger.
no,
What's
but
up,
not only
dog?
that, though, other things too, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's like, but
That's for another time.
No, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I had to learn how to do everything on my own.
Right.
Clean my clothes and stuff. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know what I mean? In a way, you know what I'm saying?
And I bet that kind of strengthened your bond that you had with your that you
For
had
sure,
already
for
had.
sure, for sure.
I mean, it's probably a biased question, but do you feel like your relationship with your mom is stronger than most? And if so, why?
I'm not gonna compare like my relationships to other people. I don't know what people's relationship with their moms are, but I do know that my mom is somebody I could talk to. You know what I'm saying? My mom is somebody that never forced a career path on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, a lot of people, traditional parents is like, yo, I want you to do this, be a doctor, do that, da, da, da. I had the freedom to do what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Which was, even though I was talking about reverse parenting, even though that was probably one of the, you know what I'm saying, things that was different about me, I still had the freedom to be who I want to be and do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that was the most important. My pops, he just wanted to see me. He wanted, you know what I mean, go to school. He just wanted to see the check on the table. You know, when I started touring and stuff, I started showing him the bread. He's like, all right, yep, keep doing what you do. You know what I mean? And he was rocking with me as long as I'm not doing nothing hot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In terms of non-Islamic, right?
So when you was out there mobbing the streets, South End, all over Rainier Beach.
Yeah.
You know,
Bro,
right
and I
there,
got evidence
Skyway.
too. Bro, the MLK, what's that called? The 76 that was right there on MLK and Graham. The old dude, the old Indian dude, he used to fix cars and stuff. I remember one time, Seattle Times, when we was younger, like 12 years old, me and the bro, Malachi Harris, his brother is actually about to make it to the league, bro. He's doing his thing right now, you know? I think Najee Harris or something like that. But me and bro, we used to mob together everywhere. He had dreadlocks. You remember? I used to bring him to the masjid too.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember Malachi.
And what's that called? The Seattle Times documented a moment with me and him in the South End right there on MLK. We was like 12 years old.
Wow.
You know, and they're like, yo, and pretty much the dude. The Indian dude was filling up our tires in our bikes. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know what I'm talking about? Like, we're just, getting around, moving around and stuff, you know? But yeah, bro.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked that, because, you know, I mean, our South End ain't like the ghettos and other places in the world, but, you know, there is that type of trouble that we run into when we run in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Did you feel like you ever got caught up in it? And
Yeah.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah, bro.
And we're not here to talk about those things, but
Yeah.
you know, how do you feel like you protected yourself from getting into deep?
I always moved smart in the sense that I knew I had to come home at the end of the day to help my mom. If I don't come home that day, if I don't come home that day, then nobody's gonna take care of my mom.
Okay.
So I had to maneuver smart. I had to make sure, you know what I'm saying, that I made it home every night. And there was times where I thought I wasn't.
That's tough, man.
There's times where I thought I was gonna either go to jail or something else happened.
Right.
Like, and there's times where I almost got into those situations, but alhamdulillah, for some reason, I'm crazy, bro. From Allah, dog. Multiple times. You know what I mean?
Subhanallah,
You know?
man. Somebody out there watching us.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
alhamdulillah,
Somebody
man.
watching out for us.
Yeah,
man.
my mom. I think it's my mother's prayers is gonna protect me, bro.
Man.
Yeah, man. We can't
Don't
underestimate
yep.
the prayers that our parents do for us,
It's
man.
real talk.
Any good that we inherit is from them because you know, from day one they're making dua for you. You know what I'm saying? So we just want to give shout out to our parents for doing
Shout
that,
out to
man.
the parents, man. And if your parents are alive, man, take advantage of that, man. Ask them to make dua for you. Sometimes, you know, our parents make dua for us what they think is best for us. Sometimes they don't know what we want too. So if there's something we want, man, open that, have that communication with them, man, inshallah.
And surprise
We'll be
question
surprised.
for you guys, because I want to touch on this before we run out of time. Both y'all's went to
Shout out.
MYA Muslim Youth Academy.
Hey,
man.
shout out. That was life changer, man. That was a
hey,
game changer.
If
Life
y'all went to
changer
MYA,
moment, man.
put it in the comments, man. We talking to you. Y'all know. I know people out there listening to it and remember MYA. They got smiles on their faces, man,
Yeah.
because all the incidents. Ustad Abu Bakr, we talking to you. I hope you listen to this. Sorry you got your tires slashed. It wasn't me. It wasn't these guys, but we just want to.
Hey.
That's what type of
I
school.
can't
Nah,
say that.
hey,
Yeah.
not on air. It's okay, bro.
No,
You
no,
don't gotta
I'm not
tell
gonna
us.
say, bro. I'm not gonna say nothing, bro. I'm just saying,
He
bro.
didn't say nothing.
Nah,
He
no,
didn't
I'm not gonna say
nothing.
nothing. I'm just saying,
MYA
though.
was an
Let me tell you,
experience.
MYA. So I went to Franklin my freshman year, senior year. I went to MYA my sophomore, and junior year. So mind you, I'm living in two different worlds.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to hear about. So,
But that's like another podcast, bro. That's
we
Just a little
gotta
glimpse,
touch
man.
on
Just a
it.
little glimpse.
Yeah,
Just-
bro,
So,
it's like-
you know, that public school, going to Islam. Go ahead.
imagine so. Bro, I didn't start learning to read the Quran and stuff until I went to MYA, bro.
Real talk.
Even though I went to like the classes, bro, nothing stuck with me, bro. You know,
Right.
but mind you, I remember I walked into the class and then Jamal was sitting down, and I was like, me and Jamal was the oldest kids in there. We was like 14, you know, but we was the oldest kids, or for like 15, I think. It was turned 15 sophomore year. But for me, it was like it was new to me, right? I came from public schools, bro. You know,
Right,
I'm going to Franklin in the middle of the city in the South, and
There's a whole
during the
different
time that was
environment.
beefing, like
Right.
gang
Right.
members used to pull up and fights used to break. It was crazy around that time, you know.
Quakers.
You know what I'm saying? But that time was wild. And then after that, that was around the time my mother got out of the hospital. She was in a coma for like 3 months, and when she got out of the hospital, my parents seen the way I was kind of acting and stuff. You know, I was just, you know what I'm saying? Like I was going down
In
the
that
wrong
life.
road.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, I was not doing anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I was my
They saw
character.
it. They saw it, noticed
They saw it coming.
some type of
because I was
change.
exposed to it from young. Just, you know,
What's your life?
Right.
I think 6th grade is when it started really getting crazy. Like Aki, you know.
You used to roll with some thugs, you know what I'm saying? You used to roll with some thugs.
I don't know.
Y'all know Sick Knuckle?
Six
Six
you
Knuckle.
heard-
There's
I
only
heard
one
that
guy
guy
that
is
know
pretty-
that.
Hey,
Six
think about me.
Knuckle.
You know the funny part about me though? I always rode with everybody, bro.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like,
For sure,
I
man.
swear, like the gangsters, the squares, everybody, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
I was
right.
cool with everybody. It was weird. Like I had this thing where I was able to connect
Hey,
with
are the
everybody.
squares
you know?
okay with you calling them the squares? or-
I'm a square too. Well, but I'm a square too. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean?
I feel it, man.
Ain't anything wrong with being a square.
So talk about that, both of y'all's. I mean, because I know you went to
Yeah.
Aki before too, right? Me and then
Yeah, similar to Essam, I went to
Right.
Franklin, and then you know some of the brothers that went to Franklin, a few of them went to MYA at that time.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I'm at my point in my life. You know, I just felt like, well, actually, the purpose was because I was failing, right? Because of my environment, I wasn't really focused on my education at that
Okay.
time, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm gonna find a gateway out. And I was like, my sisters was working at MYA as an admin. I'm gonna say, hey, get me into that school. And my parents was like, why would you want to go there? Like, I don't got money. Like, your lifestyle to the Islam school at that time a little bit. Of course, they wanted me to, but they're like, are you capable for that? And I was like, just put me in there, not knowing that I'm failing on this end though, right? I'm not telling them the route why I want to go. And actually, some brothers that were there, shout out to like some brothers like Ipsa and a couple other brothers at the basketball. They used to have like a night, weekly night, Friday nights, tournament or whatever. And these guys was giving me like da'wah in a sense, right? Just like tell me about the school and their experience. And I'm like, man, that sounds dope.
Yeah, I remember when they was telling me about that too.
Remember, like, and then like the brothers was there, were like, hey, man, these from our community, and let me go try that out. I kind of something, all this something maybe, or just lifted the heart, that iman rush.
I think that it created a lifetime bond for all of us.
Oh, for sure, man. Shout out to that, man. And I think inshallah that is a lifetime bond, man. I think we need to set up an MYA reunion. We did one like 2 years ago for Ramadan, which was pretty dope. I think we're gonna continue when this COVID ends. But go back to my first day. Like, I remember the day. Going to the next day is about to be my first day at MYA, and I was kind of low key, kind of excited. I was a little nervous. I opened the Quran, I was reading. You know what I mean? It was just like the iman rush is what they said, And it's subhanAllah, my foundation wasn't stable at that time, but for Islamic foundation, or just in general, right? And alhamdulillah, things built. And I went there, and I see the brothers. You know what I mean? I'm like, again, a handful of us was at Franklin. We all left one by one. But like, something's popping at MYA. You know what I'm saying? So alhamdulillah, I left that environment, went to MYA, and similar to Essam, we was there to our senior year, almost junior year, started senior year at a public school again. Tell us, about your experience, Essam. Like, I someone experienced it. Let the audience or those people listening in about that experience, like that culture shock, and then going back into the environment.
I remember my first week at MYA, bro. One of the teachers, it was one of the I forgot his name, bro. He was I'm not gonna,
anyways, go ahead.
Forgot his name, but he was like, "Hey, Essam, I like the way you walk." And he started imitating me. He started going like this. This reminds you of pressure, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like, he started making me feel self-conscious about the way I was walking. And from there, I was trying to learn how to walk straight. You feel me? Like at that time, but in reality, it's cultural. That's the culture. You know what I'm saying? That's the culture I'm coming from. But that was, you know what I'm saying?
You're a product of your environment.
You know what I mean? But for me, it was new. But I remember Sheikh Tahir, I remember I was in class, one of the first lectures I heard was about the hellfire. And I was like, oh, it's over. Mind you, I went to Franklin my freshman year. I'm learning about...
We was in the hellfire right there, bro.
We was learning about Darwin's theory and the develop. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, the evolution theory.
Evolution theory. I used to question religion.
I thought we was all one because we was apes growing up, and I'm like, duh.
I thought we was apes back in the day.
After a while,
that was the first thing I believed. We was apes back in the day. You feel me? And then after I went to NYA, I learned about the hellfire. I'm like, it's over. I'm not, because as a kid you're soaking in so much because you don't know anything. You're still learning. You know what I mean? You're still developing your brain to the age of 25. So as anything you're learning, you're soaking it in. You know, so, and I started learning about the hellfire, and ever since then I was like, it's over. I'm not trying to go to hellfire. And I started getting on like my deen, bro. I was like, and I started practicing, and then praying, tasting the sweetness of Iman for the first time.
Just thinking back.
Sophomore, junior year, but I go back to Franklin my senior year.
Can you tell us what homegirl said to you last time, or is that too?
Which homegirl?
You said you was in class, and then she asked you a crazy question.
I can't say that on
the podcast. You can't say that?
I can't say that on
okay,
podcast.
good. That might be too crazy, but that type of exposure is just back at you now.
My first day back in class, I had this crazy interaction with this,
With a female.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Like, wow, you came from a female where it was
I didn't do nothing, but it's my
separation.
first day back. We just went to boys, girls separate. After 2 years, and the homies just see me now. Yo, where you been? You saw? And I'm like, yeah, bro. I went to alternative school, dog.
Right. Hey, man, come on. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I work at an Islamic school. We got to stop calling Islamic schools alternative schools. They're not alternative schools.
was alternative school, bro.
No, hey, let me say, shout out to NY because there's pros and cons to it, right?
No, definitely pros and cons.
And I think in public school, there's pros and cons as well, right?
Oh,
you get some kind of education, you get some type of environment, but in the end, as Muslims, you know what I mean? We should definitely seek that knowledge in general, right? And where do we get that these days? You know what I mean? So alhamdulillah for that environment, even though it was 1 or 2 years, it molded us in some way.
Because we experienced both sides of the spectrum,
for sure,
we understand how to maneuver in society and how to deal with people who struggle to maneuver through the society rather than pushing them away. Right. Because Islam never came to abolish culture, right? Yep. Islam came to teach us how to take the good and leave the bad, filter out the wrong, because there's good and bad in every culture. Hip hop is good and bad. Tom culture is good and bad. Moroccan culture is good and bad. You know, so it's just like, okay, what is the guidelines? What can I take from the culture and what can I leave out of it?
That's beautiful,
you know?
Right. So with that, I mean, man, there's so much I just want to just talk about with you, but we got about 10 to 15 minutes, and I want to kind of take it to a time now where you're getting into the arts. And you kind of traveling. And the reason why I want to ask you about your travels because there's so much growth when you travel. Yeah. And so I want to hear about your experience and what are some things that just kind of captivated you when you were out there? What kind of changed your perspective?
Bro, when we're talking about traveling, I could talk about so many things, man. But traveling for me was a form of escapism. Escaping from the problems that I was dealing with my whole life. The problems in the hood that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? Everything, it was just, for me, when I traveled, I was able to just kind of like, you know what I mean? Whatever's going on, I'm zoned out. I'm learning and experiencing right now. Right. The world is bigger than the block, you know? And I feel like, bro, like I had so many experiences while traveling that like that changes the whole direction of my life, you know what I mean? I think one of the most impactful experiences was when I went to a village in Cambodia, where my pops is from, and I seen certain what I've seen. It was like movie scenes. It was like movie scenes. Like I seen him interacting with his aunt who raised him for the first time. Since before the Khmer Rouge, and they didn't know they were still alive, you know? And then she would break down to the floor and start crying. Old lady. Very old lady. And she passed away not too long ago. She was in the Songs of the Crickets video, May Allah Mercy on Her Soul. And her husband, who was like 100 years old, mobbing, going to the masjid every day, you know? And holding my hand is culture shock, bro. Like, we don't hold hands back home, you know? But then he passed away too not too long ago. May Allah Mercy on His soul. But it's like witnessing these things and then seeing how content people are, how happy people are, even though they don't have much, is going to make you look at life differently. Wow. Right? So I'm coming back home and I'm like, I used to love designer. I used to love all these things, Jordans, all that. I just want to be drippy. Now I don't even care. You know, I'm still fresh though because it's similar, you feel me? But at the same time, it's not about the brand. It's about how you rock it. You feel me?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So,
free game.
You know?
That's real talk.
You know? Yeah. Come on. So that's that. Traveling really opened up my mind to that, and I learned that there's so many opportunities, so many resources out there. But I think especially for artists, a lot of artists always focus on their own city, which is dope. Your city's gonna show love, but majority of the time, the people who are going to really support you are the ones who don't know you. You know what I mean? So I was able to build out relationships in places like Australia, Netherlands, Switzerland, United Kingdom. I have family, community over there. Because mind you, I've been to 21 countries, but some of these countries I've been to multiple times. 3 to Australia, 3 times. Netherlands, 18 times. United Kingdom, like 10 times. Switzerland, multiple times. Like everywhere I go, multiple. So I have a community in these places. Wow. Right? It's like the same way I have a community over here, I have a community when I go over there now too. Right. You see what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. You feel me?
Yeah. So can you talk about some of your travels is when you went to UK? Because I know you have family over there as well.
I got family in Belgium, France, Netherlands mostly. In the UK, I got a lot of homies. But I mean, bro, I was couch hopping, bro. I was going Belgium and I was sleeping on the couch. We call it in Moroccan a sederi, you know. It's like the Somali sofas, you know what I mean? So it's very similar in the Moroccan culture. So I used to sleep a couple of days, and after that I'll hop on the train. Or no, I'll probably go sleep at another auntie's house or cousin's house. I met my mom's sister who passed away from the same disease she had, like before I was born. I met her oldest son's children, you know what I'm saying? So I had a special connection to them. And then after I hop on the train and go to the Netherlands, go to my uncle's house, you know what I'm saying, sleeping on the sofa, da-da-da. And after that, I got a gig in London tomorrow, so I'm gonna leave my stuff over here, you know what I mean? So I fly to London, I do my gig, you know what I mean, I come back, and after that, I'm at my uncle's house, be like, I got a gig in South Africa tomorrow, I'm gonna leave my stuff, I'm gonna come back here, you feel me? You know, so I was,
what's my nephew doing?
I was really out, you know what I mean? So he's like, what is this guy doing, you know?
Right. I know Hamid went with you one time, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he was feeling that. I mean, between me and you, I don't know if he was feeling that. He was like, man, I was trying to chill.
What you mean?
When you guys was traveling for the what was that, like 2009, December 2019?
Yeah, before we left. Before he left, he was not trying to go. Yeah. But I talked him into it, and then we went. Yeah. And then that was like a 2-week trip, and then we we
2 weeks, 2 weeks turned into 3 weeks almost.
like 3 weeks almost,
yeah,
you know.
so,
And we was in, you know what I'm saying, like,
And
I
y'all
don't
was
know
trying
if
to
y'all-
travel like that. Like what I'm trying to say is like that was like budget traveling, right? You just kind of hop in places.
Yeah,
and things like this.
But I feel like me and we cashed out though, you know. Like I think it was a different trip. You know what I'm saying? We cashed
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like,
And sometimes the sweetness is in the struggle,
yeah,
right?
so no, but back then I was getting out the mud. You know, right now,
Right.
shit, I need me a hotel, brother. You know, I experienced the village and stuff already. I have those aspects. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've seen it. I've learned already. I'm good. I'm not going back there. Though,
Oh,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? I've learned already.
It
You know?
taught you how to be appreciative
Yeah,
now.
I appreciate it. You
I
feel
like
me?
my 5-star hotel. Now I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel you,
but
man.
I still, you know what I mean? I still want to treat myself self-care. You feel me? You
For
know,
sure.
brother-
Yeah,
brother's
that's
been
it,
through a lot.
man.
You know, we trying to, you know. But don't get me wrong. I still sleep at the homie's house when I'm traveling or whatever too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's
no.
Make sure both. This deal is about
Don't get it
balance.
twisted, right?
Balance.
Don't get it
Yeah,
twisted.
yeah.
Have it balanced and things like this,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I don't know if Hamid got any questions, but the last thing for me that I have for you is just like kind of what's kind of the message that you have for somebody that might be, you know, in your type of shoes, who like you said, who had to had reverse parenting, or somebody who is in a relationship where they might not know their biological parents or anything like this. Any lasting words for for somebody that might be listening to this and might benefit from your words?
Allah would never burden a soul more than it could bear. You know, and فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, verily after hardship will come ease. You know, everything you go through in your life, there's a reason for it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you might not know that reason in that very moment, but with time you will learn. You know, and if you don't know darkness, you won't know what light. If you don't know bitter, you won't know
Sweet.
You know what I'm saying? So it's these, you know what I mean? Like these experiences in our lives, you know, it happens for a reason, you know? And I feel like, bro, just keep it pushing, keep your head up, you know, and talk about your emotions if you feel, you know what I'm saying? Find somebody you trust, you know what I mean? Talk about your emotions with that person that you trust. If you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody, write about it, right? Because you could trust the pen and the pad. But the most important is talk to God about your problems too. You feel me?
Real talk,
That's
mashallah.
before anybody else, right? Because man, God, I feel like Allah works in ways the human brain can't even comprehend.
We can't.
You know what I'm saying?
can't,
Like we
man.
can't even access the full percentage of our brain, and we think we understand. You know, well, truth is we really don't.
Subhanallah, man. Subhanallah.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, that was my closing question. I think that was a great closing question as well. But yeah, just to wrap it up, I just felt like you touched a lot of great points. Like, you know, to shout out to those who are going through something similar, you know, or just going through stuff in general.
Yeah.
I think you shared like to keep your head up, keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Because at the end, everyone's going through something. That's
Everybody's
life. You know what I
going
mean?
through something.
It just looks different, but that feeling
Yeah.
might be the same. But the experience is different, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was a great reminder, and always putting your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and turning to Him, and then talk about it with those you trust. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you don't want to compress it inside and
Yep.
bottle it in, because that can be very damaging down the long. Trauma.
and you don't want
Right.
to tell to the wrong person.
That's right. That's why you mentioned
you
this,
trust.
trust
Yeah,
someone you trust,
exactly.
which is a big key, you know,
Yep.
and just talking
Just to
about
reiterate
it. So,
what trust is.
You know,
right?
that was I just like what Hamid just did, because he just showed us that he's a really good listener. He just repeated everything you just said, and I appreciate you guys both
and that
coming
why
on,
that's
bro.
my day one. That's my
the
eye,
day
It's
bro.
one of my right hands
You
right
feel
here,
me?
mashallah.
That's you know.
Subhanallah. I don't want to say anything else because I feel like you guys wrapped it up really well.
Yeah.
Like subhanallah, I mean, like I really appreciate you coming out here. Like I said,
sure.
man, this time it was hard for me. Like we talked about this on one day.
Yep.
Monday, he said, book me Friday. That's it. I said, I got to make it happen for
Right.
my guy right here.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming
I
out.
appreciate y'all,
sharing,
bro.
Sharing
Yeah.
your story with the fans out here. Oh, excuse
This-
me.
Yeah, being
The
very
anti-gap
vulnerable
list.
about it too.
This might be one of the
mashallah.
most wholesome podcasts I've done, if I'm being honest.
Real
bro.
talk,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Real
Alhamdulillah,
talk,
man.
You know,
man.
so in terms of what we was able to really talk about, you know, and touch
Yeah, and I
on.
appreciate that. And I know it's not easy talking about certain type
Oh
of
yeah,
things.
it was
but
definitely difficult. That's
Yeah,
why
for
you
sure,
got me
man.
times hesitating because I'm still trying to understand.
Yeah,
I'm still
and-
learning. I'm still growing.
And I always feel like this podcast is for people to benefit us to see
Yeah.
people see things in a different light, different perspective. We said that in episode 1. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I believe when you came on, you provided us with that.
Yeah.
You
Wallahi,
know,
that's
somebody might be hearing that story where you was getting beat up, was like, oh shoot, that was me. You know what I'm saying? Like I did that. It might be like, damn, I didn't even know what he was going through. Make us become better people, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to learn from our mistakes and things like that. Growth, exactly. So you know, I really appreciate you guys coming on, speaking about, you know, the instances that you had where it might feel uncomfortable talking about it, but I really feel that it's gonna make a difference in somebody's lives, and at least changing the perspective of others. You know. Just want to say one last thing to all my anti-cappers out there. You know, if you guys enjoyed this episode, man, push the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe. Talk to us. If you guys went to MIA, hit us up, man, and let us know what kind of crazy things went down over there. We got some crazy stuff.
There was a lot, bro. There was HTTCF. Shout out to HTTCF.
HTTCF
You know,
gang, bro. Hold it down, bro.
Right, but
we got gangs at MIA, bro. Like, that's what.
Hey, but shout out to all the teachers, man. Allah reward them all, man. Because man, if they don't know, man, they was really patient with us, and then they instilled a lot of foundation morals and values.
They shaped who we are, man.
To who we are. Even though we don't feel like it sometimes, I feel like, you know, down the road, it's in the back burner. That's who, I mean, where our basic is, man.
I have no complaints about it. I loved it, you know.
Man.
You know what I mean?
You know what? I'm just being real.
Shout out to Islamic schools.
That's something that I often hear to students that went to MY. I've never heard one person say I hated it. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and that's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Forget anything else, bro. The students benefited from it.
I'll say this, since you guys and maybe all the other MY listeners out here, man, you guys are the legacies of these teachers. If you guys really respect them, man, you know, hold it down. You know what I'm saying? Because every good deed that you guys do, maybe they're gonna get the reward for it too. So that's the best way to kind of
that one interaction you have with somebody will impact them for the rest of their life. You know, one person, you know, despite everything we went through, that one person that stood out to me in the community was Jay. All right, I remember he was the first person to really pull me to the side. Yo, what's up, bro? What's your name? And when I was a little kid, elementary school, he's a little bit older, and ever since then, I always looked at him like, you know what I mean, like older brother. You know, the reason why I bring that up is because that one interaction you have that's positive on somebody, you remember it for the rest of your life, right? And I remember there was this nice guy. I remember his Asian dude, Graham Hill.
Did you teach how to pivot?
No. It was Graham Hill Elementary School. It was an elementary school. His name was Ali, but I don't think he was Muslim, you know. But I remember he was an artist, a painter. He was so kind to me, and he was there for a couple of days. And when he left, he was there doing like a program or something with the children. After he left, I heard Ali left. I cried. I started crying because Ali showed me love. I remember his name to this day, but I will never be able to see him again. But Ali showed me love. You know what I'm saying? And there was another guy. His name was Mr. Sanger. I remember that. He used to always be like angry. Older white dude. He used to always be angry. Elementary school, right? And I remember one time he was like, I was like, hey, I know what today's day is. I told him that. And after that, I told him, you know, kids, you know, and I told him the date, and then he smiled because he was always angry. That one time he smiled, I remember that smile for the rest of my life.
And love, and love and smile, man. That those simple stuff, man. That instills in one, man. And that in Islam, that's a form of charity as well, right? So, man, just intention, man. Just continue sharing those smiles, y'all. Put y'all's heads up. You know, I mean, share that love is universal, man. All love and smiles is very universal.
And it's sunnah too.
And it's a sunnah, man. That's a simple sunnah, right? MashaAllah, man. Alhamdulillah.
You guys want easy ways to get reward. That's it, man. We out of time today, man. We want to thank all the listeners again. If you guys, you know, put any comments out there, you know, let us know what type of topics you guys want to hear for the next time. You know, we're listening, man. And if you guys want to hop on the mic, just let us know. But other than that, we just want to say real talk.
No cap
podcast.
Mass One.
You guys listening to it right now? We got it playing in the back right now. You don't know, but it's playing in the back, man. Take it easy. Salam alaikum, everybody. All my listeners out there.
We gon' say the least, but we gon' do them all. Coming from the bottom, never broke. Lots of my brothers, they went go. I said lots of my brothers, they went go. We gon' say the least, but we gon' do them all. Coming from the bottom, never broke. Lots of my brothers, they went go. I said lots of my brothers, they went go. Heard my brody break it down, we chopped it up about the vision. Hear that message when you listen, keep that hating in the distance. Gotta keep your circle smaller than a penny. Got some homies I confirm and I'ma tell you it ain't many. Heavy foot up on the gas, don't stop for anyone. Need some money in the bag so we can split the funds. We pull it to the block, don't need any guns. We got hands, Muhammad Ali, don't get stung, yeah. Don't brag, don't want no evil eye. MashaAllah, you know we got it, we gon' be alright. If we don't got it, we gon' get it. We started with a little, then we flipped it.